Welcome back to the AI Accelerators podcast. I'm here today with Reshma, who is a senior associate here at Accelerate, and she has experience with working on a lot of clients with UiPath. And today we're gonna be talking about a term that's gaining a lot of attention, that is Agentic AI, but specifically, we're talking about Agentic AI for businesses. So, we've heard about generative AI, chatbots, and automation, but Agentic AI seems to be the next step. So, welcome, Reshma. I'm excited to hear your insights on this.
Thank you, Mugda. I'm really excited to be part of this podcast today. This is an important topic because it's where AI moves beyond just providing answers and starts delivering real business outcomes.
Okay, so let's start simple. When people hear agentic AI, it sounds complex. So, what exactly does it actually mean in business terms?
Okay, so when we talk about agentic AI in UiPath, we are referring to AI systems that can operate with a clear goal, make decisions, and take actions across enterprise processes with minimal human intervention. Unlike traditional automation that follows predefined rules, agentic AI can understand context, reason through situations, decide the next best action, and then execute that action. At a very simple level, agentic AI is AI that doesn't just respond, it acts. Instead of answering a question or generating content, it takes responsibility for a goal. For example, instead of telling you how to process a refund, it actually processes the refund by interacting with systems, checking policies, and completing the task. You can think of it like the difference between someone who simply offers suggestions and someone who actually takes responsibility for getting the work done end to end.
I see. So, how is that different from the AI tools that businesses are already using?
So most of the AI tools that we are using today are reactive. You are just asking a question and the AI is just providing you an answer. But agentic AI is proactive. It understands the objective, figures out the steps, acts across systems, and knows when to involve a human. That shift from answering to acting is the big difference.
That's really interesting to hear. Uh, why is agentic AI becoming such a big topic right now? Why not 5 years ago?
Okay, so there are three big reasons I would say. First of all, AI models are now good enough to reason across multiple steps. Earlier AI systems were good at answering one question at a time. They could classify data or generate text, but they struggled to connect multiple steps into a coherent flow. But modern AI models, however, can understand the context. It can remember what has already happened and decide what should happen next. This means that today's agentic AI they can take a goal such as resolving a customer issue and break it down into steps, gather information, evaluate conditions, choose an action and adjust based on the outcome. That ability to reason across multiple steps is what enables AI to move from simply responding to actually driving processes end to end. And second thing is, most of the businesses have already digitized their systems using APIs and automation tools. And third, companies are under pressure to do more with less, faster decisions, lower costs, and better customer experience. Agentic AI sits right at the intersection of all three. It takes intelligence and connects it directly to execution.
That sounds really good. But my question to you is this about replacing people?
No, not at all. It's just about removing the operational burden from people. Most employees do not spend their time making big decisions. They spend it chasing information, handling exceptions, and coordinating work. Agentic AI takes over that part so people can focus on judgment, oversight, and strategy. Basically, for high impact decisions, low confidence scenarios, or regulatory checkpoints, The agent automatically pauses and routes the task to a human through validation stations or approval workflows. Humans remain accountable for critical decisions while the agent handles the operational complexity. This balance is what allows businesses to trust agentic AI in production environments.
So we can say that like Agentic AI is not replacing employees, but it's like more about acting as a helping hand for the
Yes,
employees.
exactly. That is correct.
So can you give us some example of how Agentic AI works in a real business scenario?
Sure. Let me take a very common example that is handling a customer refund request. So, normally, what happens? A human agent reads the email, checks the order, reviews the return policy, verifies the payment details, processes the refund, updates the system, and finally informs the customer. So, there are many steps involved to that human agent. Even for simple cases, a lot of coordination is needed. So, with the help of agentic AI, the agent receives a clear goal. So, we can give a goal to the agent, that is, resolve the customer refund request. So, the agent first reads the customer's message and understands the intent. Okay, this is a refund request and it's just not a question. The agent then gathers the context by checking the order management system, payment records, and return policy. Next, the agent reasons through the situation. It asks questions such as: is the order eligible for a refund? Is it within the return window? Has the product already been returned? So, based on all this, it will analyze the company policy and decide the correct next step. If everything meets the correct criteria, the agent takes action. It triggers the refund in the payment system, updates the order status, and sends a confirmation message to the customer. So the entire process is completed without human involvement. But again, if something is unclear, for example, the return window has expired or the payment method requires manual approval, then the agent does not guess. It escalates the case to a human agent with a clear summary of what was checked and why the case needs review. So, from the business point of view, the value is immediate. Customer gets faster resolution, support teams handle fewer repetitive requests, and refunds are processed consistently according to policy. So, the thing is, the AI isn't just answering questions, it's owning the outcome. So, that's the main benefit of our agentic AI.
I can see how this use case could be really, really helpful. But
Yes.
I just want you to clarify for our listeners what makes this agentic. How is this different from a normal automation?
Okay, so that's a great question. And that's a real important distinction actually. So, traditional automation is excellent when the process is predictable. You define the steps in advance, and as long as everything goes according to plan, it works very well. Means in the happy path, the bots will work in the very well. But the moment something unexpected happens, like say missing data, an exception, or a rule that doesn't apply, then the automation stops and hands the work to a human. So, agentic AI works differently. Instead of following a single fixed path, it understands the intent of the process. When it encounters a problem, it doesn't just fail, it reasons through the situation, it looks for additional information, checks policies, chooses an alternative action, and keeps moving forward. If it reaches a point where human judgment is required, it knows to pause and escalate with context. So, the key difference between the agentic AI and the traditional automation is decision making. The AI isn't following one fixed path, it's evaluating the situation, choosing the next step, and adapting based on what it finds. So, basically, this adapting point of agentic AI is what makes it so beneficial to our businesses. That ability to decide, act, and escalate is what truly makes it agentic.
I see that was really helpful. So, from a business perspective, where does the value really come from?
So, the biggest value comes from handling exceptions and end to end ownership. Traditional automation works well when everything goes right, but most effort in businesses goes into handling what goes wrong. So let me explain this with a simple healthcare example. Let me take an example, insurance prior authorization for medical procedures. So in hospitals and clinics, getting insurance approval in advance is a constant challenge. In theory, it is straightforward. Submit the patient details, procedure codes, and clinical justification, then wait for the approval. So in theory, it looks very simple. But in reality, most cases don't go smoothly. Information is missing, codes do not match, policies differ by insurer, all follow-ups are required. So there will be multiple things that can lead to delays. So that's where our staff spend most of their time, like tracking, rechecking, calling the insurers, and coordinating across systems. Now, with an agentic AI in place, the process looks very different. The agent is given a clear goal: get prior authorization approved for a patient's procedure. So the agent gathers patient records from the EHR, it reads the clinical notes and documents, applies payer specific rules, and submits the request. If the payer comes back asking for additional information, the agent understands, okay, there is something missing. It will retrieve the right data based on the context provided to the agent and resubmit the request automatically. This is where the value really shows. Instead of stopping when something goes wrong, the agent keeps going. It investigates, follows up, and adapts, just like a human coordinator would. Only if the case is so complex or is at high risk, it would escalate to human with a clear summary of what's already been done. So, from a business standpoint, this dramatically reduces the cycle time. Authorizations that used to take days or weeks can be resolved much faster. It improves consistency because the same rules and checks are applied every time, and it allows organizations to scale without adding headcount. Most importantly, it improves the customer experience. Delays in authorization often delay treatment. When issues are resolved faster and more reliably, patients get care sooner and staff spend less time on paperwork. So this is one of the example that shows how beneficial is agentic AI in business processes.
I think this is specifically for the healthcare industry. I think this is like really amazing.
Yeah.
It just like really, it's really good. So, are there specific types of processes where this agentic AI works best?
Yes, so processes that are high volume, span across multiple systems, and involve frequent exceptions. So I'll just give some examples like think of finance operations, invoice processing, KYC reviews, customer service resolution, IT incident management, HR onboarding, or compliance monitoring. All this span across multiple systems and they are of high volume. So these are some of the examples where we can put into picture of this agentic AI. So anywhere people spend time figuring out the next step, agentic AI fits very well because these are processes where traditional automation struggles because not every scenario can be predefined. Agentic AI delivers the most value in processes that are complex, decision heavy, and exception driven, where human effort is currently spent not on doing the task but on figuring out what to do next.
That's great. So it's not just healthcare, it's also so many more domains like IT, HR, or finance. That's
Yes.
great. I just have one final question. What's the one takeaway you want listeners to remember?
Okay, so agentic AI is not just about smarter chatbots. It's about creating AI systems that can own business outcomes safely and responsibly. Companies that adopt to this mindset early will fundamentally change how work gets done.
I think this was a great conversation. Thanks for breaking this down so clearly, Reshma. Uh, Agentic AI definitely sounds like a good shift for businesses right now.
Yes.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Mugdha, for inviting me to the show. Looking forward to do more podcasts with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.